Hello, and again, welcome to Bit Depth. I'm Santiago Ramones. Across from me is...
My name is Michael Blanton. I go by Metroyd Mike on most of my social medias.
Hell yeah. Listen to Metroid Mike.
Please.
Do that. But okay, so this is the first of these, although I've recorded most of the other ones anyways. And so I'm going in some weird, strange order. But to you, listener, this is the first of these. And so I'm going to be talking about every single track on Bloom daily until its release.
And that's fun.
Yeah. And so you get like special behind the scenes look at every single track so that whenever you listen to it and stream it or buy it on Bandcamp, you get extra knowledge and feelings with all the stuff. So first track is Home. It's the first thing I ever made. Shoot.
Shoot.
Yeah, you shoot your questions at me.
Okay. So the initial one that I'll get out of the way because I know a bunch of people are going to ask it anyway. So what made you want to write an ambient album?
I didn't want to. Like, it's not like I didn't want to, but it's more like...
Did it just come out that way?
Yeah. So this album, I've been describing it as a time capsule. Okay. And so this is the first things that I ever made with music. So I had gotten my audio interface and it came with Ableton Live Lite. And this track is the first thing I ever made. Okay. Like the first recording into a computer.
So yeah,
that I made by
it's a
myself.
self-time capsule.
Yes.
Okay. That's cool. I like that idea.
Yeah. And so this was in like, I don't know, December of 2013, which was a long time ago. And so instead of like intending to do anything, I really just like was trying stuff.
I gotcha.
And so this track was the first thing I ever tried.
I mean, it's a cool idea. I mean, like my old music when I started doing stuff, it's all been deleted from MySpace anyway because it was all just old crappy thrash hardcore stuff in that in that early Kill Switch Engage phase. I'm glad that no one can hear it anymore.
Yeah.
So this is a cool idea of like you have something like a little tangible thing. That's I like the idea of a time capsule.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
And it's kind of nice because, well, one, I don't hate it. Like I actually really am proud of this album. And so it's hard to go back and listen to things that you used to make and be like, ooh, this is garbage.
Ooh, yeah.
But I really like this album. And so here we are many, many years later with the finished, quote unquote, finished product. And yeah, I'm happy with it still.
Yeah.
And
that's good.
That probably means that like it's good enough to be put out. And so here you go.
Yeah. Because a cool thing that whenever I personally write songs, I have to have something tangible I'm writing to. And how I translate that is through writing a story, as you've seen. So when I hear these kinds of songs, all I have is just imagery in my head.
Yeah.
So did you have like a specific kind of like thought process, or like did you just like was it really just sit down and you noodled it out, or was it just like, okay, this is like kind of what I'm trying to convey in this song? Because I only have the one so far.
Yeah.
So it's pretty and I'll get into how my brain processes that one.
Yeah.
But
so this was, I mean, I was just digging through Ableton and just seeing like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
I think I had Pro Tools for like a little bit.
So complicated.
Yeah. And so I would just like open it
and just stare at a blank canvas.
Yeah.
And be like, this is awful.
Yeah. And so with Ableton instead, a lot of people say that Ableton is like, oh, it has a steep learning curve. It's like weird and obtuse. But I think those people are used to other DAWs.
Have them learn LSDJ. You want to talk about a steep learning curve?
But I feel like whenever I opened up Ableton, it was just like, here's your track. You go over to the side where like the folders say audio effects and you just drag that onto the track.
Easy peasy.
You have an audio effect. And so kind of the first things I did, I had my guitar, I plugged it in. I was like, what are these audio effects? And so, hey, reverb, I know what that is.
Yeah.
It makes a spacey sound. And so we have some space.
You're big on that church reverb.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And then the other one is delay, which like I didn't really know what delay was, but I figured it out pretty quickly. It's like, oh, it's an echo. And so this one's pretty slow because as I eventually kind of gathered with this track, I kind of just wanted a looper, but I didn't know what a looper was. And so I just did a looper with delay.
That's clever. Yeah, that's a clever way of doing it.
And so I turned the feedback all the way up. And so it would just repeat over and over again.
I mean, that's how I did. That's how I learned a lot of how my harmony ideas work, is because I would just pop a delay on and I'd play through one scale, and because I would figure out the timing of the delay and then just play the scale each time, so it would just like hit the same note like just behind it.
Yeah, exactly. And so you can actually hear it at the beginning of the track. There's just a tiny little, and that's just for me to hear the tempo of the delay.
Clever.
Yeah, and so it's still going there, and so then I start with. So then I set the tempo even more, and then I move off of it. And so I already had some like background experience with music theory and scales and stuff. And I was familiar enough with guitar to just be able to like, okay, well, that's kind of the main motif of the thing. But like with the delay, it was like, whoa, here's way more stuff happening. And so,
which is funny because there's way more stuff happening, but there's not.
No, not really.
Super open.
Yeah. Because it's literally just guitar. But yeah, and so I didn't necessarily have imagery, but it was more so the tools were dictating what I was doing. I was talking to my friend Mac yesterday, how like sometimes you get like a guitar pedal or something and it's like, oh, this thing just writes songs. Yeah. Like this is a tool that,
exactly.
Oh, you plug this thing in and
I should probably own one.
Right.
I have one.
But it's like there's stuff that like creates ideas for you. And so rather than me being like, you do what I want, I would play with it and then it would be like, oh, cool.
It's more cooperative with the tools you have.
Exactly. And so once I had the delay and I liked what it sounded like, then I threw things into it. And so I had the scale, and it's funny because with my guitar knowledge now, I play this with the pinky. Mm-hmm. The way I played it then was I would move my middle finger.
That's kind of how I would almost do it now, just myself.
But like, it actually creates a different sound.
Yeah.
And you get that kind of slidey thing in there, and you get a little bit of that like.
Yeah. And some people aren't a fan. I love that sound.
Yeah.
Some people, like my old teacher, just like, you need to turn your mid like way down. I'm like, why? But now you know where my hand's going.
Yeah. Or you just get flat wound strings.
No.
Have you ever played on flat wounds?
I have. It's because of my since as my tone of bass is so. It's been described as trashy, but it's and I've toned down a lot now. It used to be like, if for people listening, it used to be like bass at noon, my mids at like 2 or 3 o'clock, and then my high at like 4 to 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And so it was like super tinny and it was super trashy because I was growing up listening to NoFX and Rancid and Misfits. So it was like super thin. And then only up until about like 7 or so years ago, now it's like my bass is at like a 3 o'clock. My mids are just about at noon or a little before.
Okay.
And then my high is at 3.
Wow.
So it's like
still a lot of high.
Still, I like a punchy high bass. Yeah. I like things to pop out loud. I'm not crazy on thick thumpy bass.
Sure.
I think it has its place, and for me, flat wounds, I can't break that sound, so they're comfy, but they're boring to me.
Yeah.
So I like me a Pro Steel, I like me a Boomer, or like just a really like heavy gauge Slinky.
So
I like those a lot.
Yeah. Well, for me at the time, I still didn't know anything. And so there's no effects on the guitar other than a reverb and a delay. The like guitar directly into the interface. This is what we got.
I mean, yeah, I did the same thing. It was I had a crate amp and everything. All the knobs were just at max because I didn't understand like this is mixing and not like how like I didn't understand that like noon was 0 and before is a cut and after is like a boost.
Yeah.
So everything's just boosted, distortion on. How do I play this like Walk Among Us album? How do I play this like Rocket to Russia album?
Yeah.
And how do I like make my mom like want to shut off the power in the garage? And so like I'm with you on that. It's just like, okay, here's what I know. This button does that and I like that sound. So this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Well, I kind of did the opposite, and I just like shut myself in my room, just had my headphones on, and just like, all right, let's just play some guitar sounds.
Yeah.
And so, I guess going back, like I really just had the chord, and then I just played around with ideas around the delay.
I mean, a triad gives you a lot anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And having that fourth in there.
Yeah.
Gives a little bit of tension, but not so much that it's like,
yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I had that foundation and then everything moved on its own. You will hear me continue to describe this album in this way with naive intuition is kind of what was guiding me.
I mean, you could word like that, or it's just more organic than what you get out of like someone. I say organic. I mean, I say more organic, but it's like someone who gets out of a learned musician versus someone who you won't get that. Like if you were given that all these tools now with your knowledge, you wouldn't have written that.
Right. Exactly.
And so it's a great thing of like, you know, I give you this instrument. I'm not going to hear anything I've heard any of my other musician friends play because it's new.
Right. And that is pretty much what happened is I don't think I could write this album now.
Yeah.
I would try too much or I would not let go of something.
Yeah.
But like this track is literally just guitar, reverb, delay. In fact, I wanted to have the delay go into the reverb, but I didn't know that I had to right click on the send to enable. And so the track doesn't actually, like the delay doesn't go into the reverb. The live guitar only goes into the reverb, which actually I like now.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Because in a way, it's like the guitar that's live, that's playing the new things, is what's given the space. And then everything else is kind of behind it.
Yeah. So it's because we were talking about imagery before. So like for me, when I hear this song, and I think it's most ambient tracks do this to me anyway, maybe just because of how my brain goes with how I write things and my interest of things. This track to me is almost like melancholy and ominous.
Sure.
When I hear this, like it goes between two things, because whenever I wrote anything ambient, it was always for like a friend's horror movie project or like, so it's like I have that already like built in.
Yeah.
So like the track automatically for me is going to be like, okay, what's happening? I'm waiting for something to happen, and it doesn't, which is fine. It's just for me, I'm like, where's that weird diminished chord, or where's that like that flat 5 that's going to like mean something's happening when that's not the case at all. Yeah. Or it's melancholy in the sense of like, I picture almost like a lighthouse wiki, like you're just living by yourself and this is the music that's playing for you, just because in my head thinks in like cinematic shots.
Yeah,
so it's like, you know, you wake up, you get your lighthouse key, you go, you know, clean the lighthouse, and like you go, and it's super like almost melancholy and like lonely when all it really is just like it's a major scale which intends happy, and it's a pretty sound throughout the entire thing, but the entire thing in my mind is like, when is someone going to die?
Right.
And I don't know if that's healthy, but it's what I got out of it. So like hearing you talk about like, okay, this is literally just me hitting buttons and like figuring stuff out, I think that's a really interesting way, because I would have never come to that.
Sure. Well, the imagery that comes to me now, which is weird because it's like I didn't make it with any sort of intention, but after listening to the album for so many years now, I've ascribed meaning to things.
Yeah.
And so now I have like just this feeling of being home. The track is called Home. It wasn't called Home initially. It was just Ambient 1.
Yeah. I mean, I have those too.
Yeah. And so I named it Home just because it feels like comfortable. You're taking a breath, and there's just little things that feel like home, like comfort, like where you go to let go. And so I don't know. I think there's something about it that's kind of nostalgic.
Yeah.
Something about it that's kind of maybe a little bit of like loneliness, like you were saying.
Yeah.
Because it is the thing by itself, but it's not in a bad way. Like sometimes you do just want to come home and be alone, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
And so to me, this track is like unwinding, letting go, and being comfortable, because now you're done with the day and you're home.
That's good. So home is a nice thing that I have only until I was married did I have roots. So like it's for me, home now is nice. Mm-hmm. Home before was like, I guess I live here.
Right. Yeah.
So are there parts of the song that you would like specifically like associate with your parents or something? Like, is it, and here's because I do this for myself. Mm. For me, every friend that I have is either a scale or a chord. In my head. It's like, this person sounds like this to me. Mm. Do you have that with your parents at all?
I don't know. I think that I don't know if I associate this track with my parents, even though I did make it like living with my parents. But in a weird way, it more is associated with like my room.
I gotcha.
And so your room itself, which is just like home and then a part of home. So like even smaller, which I guess is even lonelier. Mm-hmm. But like, I think that this kind of is away from parents as well. And so
I gotcha.
I don't know, because parents do put like pressure on you, especially whenever you're like in school, or I was in college at the time, but still, it's still like pressure. But I don't know. There are other tracks. There's actually one other track that does feel like family as well. But I don't know. I feel like this one is just like the self inwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. So I know what you're about musically now, but so at that time when you were noodling with this, like what were like, a general, like your top 5 albums that you would be having in your room. Cause I know one is going to be what, like In Rainbows or is it Rainbows?
Yeah. It's definitely In Rainbows.
Yeah. I know that's one of them.
That probably would have been, so In Rainbows, number 1. Also, The Devil and God Are Raging Inside Me by Brand New.
Okay.
You Can Play These Songs with Chords by Death Cab for Cutie.
Okay.
And probably like the Halo 2 soundtrack.
Hey, that's a good soundtrack.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's funny because I sort of backed my way into ambient music.
Yeah.
I didn't intend to get here. And so maybe now I would look at it and be like, yeah, this is like some Brian Eno or some Johnny Greenwood, who is the guitarist for Radiohead, but he scores movie soundtracks. Maybe even, I mean, other video game stuff. I was still very into video games then and more so now. And so I think video games informed my knowledge of ambient music.
You don't say.
But like something else is whenever I showed some of my music to a different friend, he was like, oh, check out just minimalists. And so Steve Reich, Philip Glass, Terry Riley, those sorts of dudes. It's like, oh yeah, that is what I was doing.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny because you described those albums and like I totally can hear that in that song. I can totally hear Death Cab for Cutie in that song. Yeah. I can tell it's like, cause all they have to do is have, cause I'm the vocalist, I forget his name.
Ben Gibbard.
Okay. All they have to do is have him with some pretty, not so much counter melody, but like some sort of like harmony melody. Yeah. Just like something simple going over that. And it's done.
Yeah. It could be a Death Cab song.
Yeah.
And then just have some like pretty cool rhythmic drums underneath.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
You don't even have to really, but I can hear those. I mean, maybe not so much Brand New, but
right.
But I can totally hear Death Cab. I can hear Radiohead. I can hear all that stuff in there. That's interesting.
Well, good. In a weird way, like I'm flattered that my influences are in there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
they're always there. So like clearly, I'm a video game music guy.
Right.
But I think those soundtracks don't get the credit that they deserve.
Definitely.
Because those guys work insanely hard. Like even down to like original like Sega and Nintendo, like programming music is hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And like I do it basic and it's hard.
Yeah.
So like those kinds of soundtracks. And just because now I know it doesn't have to do with the song, but now I'm wondering, so give me like your top 5 game soundtracks, because it's something I want to know for my own reasons.
Yes. So Transistor,
Okay.
Darren Korb is like number 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is probably Fez, Disaster Piece.
You would like Fez.
Fez is so good. And the soundtrack is so good.
Because it's that minimalistness, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. But it's also so mode based.
Yes.
It's extremely modal. And that's how Disaster Piece writes a lot too. But it's just beyond chiptune.
Yeah.
Like it is chiptune, but it's just beyond it.
Yeah, it's a little bit further ahead.
Like I don't know, some people make like fake chiptune, which is like, yeah, we're using the tools of chiptune music and the sounds of it, but there's stuff in here that you couldn't make with a Game Boy or a NES sound card. Yeah. What else? I mean, probably still the Halo 2.
It's so good.
Soundtrack. It's so good.
Is that the one that had Breaking Benjamin?
Yes.
Yeah. And just randomly in the middle of it, just blow me away. Just started. I remember playing that and being so like, what is happening?
Incubus was also in it. Hoobastank was in it.
Really? I did not know that.
Yeah. And who was the last one? Steve Vai played on it.
Really? I mean, I could totally see that, but like, I only knew of Breaking Benjamin.
Yeah. So
and I need to go back and listen to it then.
And insane, Nile Rodgers produced it.
Really?
Yeah.
They had money, I guess. I mean, the Halo 1 made them like a good amount of money. So Halo 2 was like a huge thing.
Yeah. Nile Rodgers produced, and they put out like two albums because it was like a double album.
Yeah.
Because there's so much music in video games, but Nile Rodgers produced both of them.
Really?
Which is just, I think he also produced the Halo 3 OST as well. So it's like he's just in there.
It's hard to top Halo 3.
Right.
It's hard to top.
I can't even call it a score because it's also sound design, but the soundtrack for Inside by Playdead, I'm influenced by a lot of indie games anyways.
I mean, that's fine. Yeah. I'm trying to think if I know that, because I don't know if I know that one.
So that one is like it's both score and sound design at the same time.
Okay.
They're not separate because there's like points in the game that are like kind of rhythmic and sounds that are happening in it that are musical, but then there's like, I don't know, they're inseparable. Sound design and soundtrack are inseparable in that game. And that is,
and what game is that?
Inside.
I'm gonna need to look that up, because that sounds like up my alley.
But it is, of course, Portal 2.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's a really good one.
Mike Muraski does, and he doesn't get enough credit because the Portal 2 soundtrack is under Aperture Science Psychoacoustics Laboratory. Yeah. And so Mike Muraski doesn't get that credit.
Yeah.
But he should, because he did so well on that soundtrack. I think Inside is a masterclass in like embedding sound design with score. I think Portal 2 is just a masterclass in video game music at all. It's embedded in the game in complex ways, in simple ways, and how like you get close to a thing and the music comes up, or you do one thing in the game and like a little musical thing plays, and it's just so perfect how it is in Portal 2. But yeah, I think that was 5.
I mean, that's fine. I can hash music soundtracks all day.
Right.
Because I guess if I really had to pick my own, and some of these will come through like a lot, I think, is a big one for me was And even though I didn't know it at the time, because it actually originally turned me off to JRPGs for a long time because of my own dyslexia. I couldn't read what was happening in the game. So I was like, this game sucks. This isn't Mario. Was Final Fantasy VII. Taught me a lot of motif. Yeah. And like that theme to me still like is perfect. And One Winged Angel is just like,
it's a classic.
Yeah. I mean, it's because it's also Obumetsu was just like, I have all these random things and it's similar to how I write music is I write parts and then I put them together as like a puzzle to see how they fit. Mm-hmm. And so that's how he wrote One Winged Angel. He just wrote all these separate little things and was just like, okay, this works. And then just like went off that.
Right. So Coheed and Cambria is your favorite band, right?
Yes.
And so like progressive rock and video game music is so intertwined. Again, the Halo 2 soundtrack is just a prog rock album with some orchestra stuff in it.
Yeah, which is great. And I guess it's also Donkey Kong Country 2 because I forget that guy's name too. I'm awful at names of composers and I should learn them because I should be able to say them as I can.
Was that Grant Kirkhope or was that before him?
That was before him because he came out on 64.
Okay.
Which was still great. I'd say that one, Warcraft, Orcs and Humans.
Nice.
Just that weird, like medieval sound that I loved so much. For the ambient stuff, which is something I think you would dig it too. The original theme wasn't, but on the Game Boy Advance game of Klonoa.
Okay.
There's a few ambient tracks and I'm like Santiago would love this. And then the main thing is totally like something I would have loved growing up because it's super like pop punk.
Yeah.
And then Silent Hill is a huge influence idea for me because it's just like how can I get these, because a big thing for me is just music has to be thematic and I guess that's why I gravitated towards Coheed so much when I finally like listened to him because I didn't get into them until college, right only because I became best friends with John and that's his favorite band. He's like, hey, you want to like sit down and like listen to this album and read this book first. I was like, oh, okay. And so I read through his book and then we sat down and we listened to Good Apollo and I was like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly.
I totally get this now. And so now that I went and bought the books and like read through everything and then I was hooked.
Yeah.
Because I grew up listening to, I already mentioned them multiple times, but like things like Ramones and Misfits and stuff like that. So it was like, for me, it's like, this song's called Teenage Lobotomy. Why? Because I was stuck in a mental home and I wanted them to give me lobotomy so I could fucking leave. And like that. So I was used to that. And now here's this whole like lore and backstory, which then became my whole thing.
Right.
And so back to the track. So I know you like it now, but, and this may be asking too much. If you were to write that song now, like that scale, how would you, if you can like maybe like do a snippet on the guitar?
Yeah.
How would you go about that scale now?
I wouldn't add a whole lot more, but actually earlier I was kind of noodling with it and just throwing different ideas on it. Something else I would do is I would have the delay go into the reverb. But I don't know. I'd still debate about that, but I think the main motif is still that. So and then still have these guys. And there's still this guy in there. Which I actually, I later realized that last part of that melody is Poker Face by Lady Gaga.
Hey.
Carry mine, no you can read my poker face. Oh gosh, I messed up the delay.
Yeah, now it's all.
But here. There it is. So I would probably do something like in this middle area kind of incorporate that other melody.
Yeah.
But just, I feel like since I ground it down here, I would kind of follow all the way up in the range of the guitar. Yeah. I don't know if I would go any further down. Just because I can't have the root note at the bottom.
I gotcha.
But I think I would just like fill out the range a little bit more. But yeah, I don't think it needs a whole lot more. Even
no, it
doesn't. I could do a bass, but it doesn't need it.
Wow.
I could do drums, but it doesn't need it. It could have a synth. It doesn't need it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need anything. It's just interesting to see like, okay, how would you write that song now?
Yeah,
and like I can show you post this recording about like how awful my original guitar writing was, and I could be like, look at this, how bad this song is. And I don't know what I'd do to it because it's nothing.
Yeah, but like I think even still, my roots that come from this still bleed into the stuff that I'm doing now. And so it's like, here's a simple major scale. It doesn't need a whole lot. It doesn't need a whole lot of tension. I don't need to like make this suddenly like a 7 flat 9 chord or do some sort of extensions.
I mean, you never ever need to do that, but it's fun, but you never ever need to.
No, I mean, there's a piece that I wrote recently that I went ham with chord extensions, just like how many more in here can I cram in? And that's a fun thing otherwise, but at some point, once you add more extensions, it starts getting muddy and it starts getting a little too tense. And this song isn't meant to be tense. It's meant to be home.
I mean, that's, you get the message across.
Yeah.
It totally fits that. I'm the one who makes it creepy in my own mind. I'm the one who makes it like something's bad's about to happen.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun track. Like I said, I'm the one who makes it creepy. So I'm sure everyone else is like, no, this is really pretty, Michael. I'm like, I mean, is it? But it's super great. I think the album's going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear the rest of it.
Yeah. I think a final note, and I guess I never really mentioned it, but like there's the 3 main ideas. I guess you could also say 4 with just like the building the triad in the beginning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But then there is the high one, which kind of sounds like bells. Whoops. Which I like that later on I add some syncopation with the delay. And then here's syncopation. And that's like one of the only times that like the rhythm kind of changes throughout the whole thing. But yeah, and then there's this guy. And then it becomes Poker Face, but yeah.
I mean, I've done it. I've written 2 Green Day songs, a 3 Inches of Blood song, and like I think I wrote Journey one time.
Right.
So it mathematically you can only write so much.
Right. But those are really the only things in the track, which is like it goes to show, and I think this whole album goes to show that like you don't need to get too dense with stuff if the track doesn't need it. And so just like serve the song.
Mm-hmm. That's something I have to constantly remind myself too, because John and I both do that. Like, I mean, like we did with Goblin March was like there's a random Primus breakdown for like no reason where we're both doing slap bass and slap guitar at the same time. We have a Game Boy going. We have Julian doing whatever on drums. There's like so many things happening at once. So it's like eventually we made it work, but like it's like serving the song I think is like a important thing that a lot of songwriters tend to forget is like, yeah, I'm writing this song and I'm trying to convey this thing.
Yeah.
But like, at what point am I doing too much, or because demo love's always a thing too, but like that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But yeah, like the idea of like take something away. I guess it's that Coco Chanel saying, before you leave the house, take off one accessory because you don't need it.
Yeah.
So it's like that kind of like walk away from that track with that idea. It's like, okay, this track is good. This track is pretty. It's three things. And because that's I mean, pop music does that too.
Yeah.
But they do it to where it's maddening.
Right.
But it's you know, this is more of like, it's a fun experiment of, you know, here is the bare minimum and what do I get out of it? And I think the idea of like a fun time capsules, I totally hear that. This totally sounds like, you know, inside kid suburbs, like experimenting with stuff in his room by himself. Also creepy lighthouse caretaker that will be attacked by a giant moth or something. I don't know.
That would be a really good thing. So
that's oh, that's where I got it. That's another indie game. I saw it like a little while ago. That's why I thought of that. I think it's called No One Lives Under the Lighthouse.
Oh,
it's like someone did a horror game in the style of like PS1.
Oh, okay.
You should look.
I was thinking of To the Moon that has a lighthouse in it, but yeah. And I think one last thing is that I decided to just have it fade out with just like letting the delay run out.
I mean, it's already playing the song for you,
right? And so
anything you add to that delay is just going to continue the song,
right? And so rather than like a faster fade out, I guess I had just like let it play out, and that's okay. So yeah. Plug your stuff. You had mentioned all these other projects that you're doing.
Oh yeah.
So it's like,
So you can follow me because my Twitter handle had to change because I was originally banned from Twitter for something else, which wasn't my fault. Robots of Twitter. I'm at Metroid Mike Music on Twitter. I'm at Metroid Mike on Instagram. I have a Metroid Mike Facebook page. The Facebook page now has a lot less activity on it because I don't pay Facebook.
Right.
Because I refuse to pay them.
Yeah.
My Twitter's active. My Instagram stories are more active than anything else because I can just make music joke posts on my stories that are gone.
Yeah.
But you can find me on there. We're still working on that album after 4 years of working on it because it's been a huge undertaking that we have a lot of plans for. And I know I talked about like, you know, serving the song and like not doing too much, but I'm doing so much outside of the album.
Yeah.
That it has to be this whole other parade of content.
You got to do that nowadays.
Yeah. Like we talked about the last time I was on your podcast was like, it can't just be an album anymore. The album has to be the book. It has to be the show. It has to be the merch. It's the whole, and mine had to be the comedy-based stage play based on a podcast and a D&D game that I love so much. You can follow me on all those.
Metroid Mike with Y's.
METROYD space MYK because I don't own those rights.
Yes.
And if I ever get my cease and desist, I'll frame it. But you follow me on those. I'm on Bandcamp. I'm on Spotify. I'm on all those things. Find me on there. You can bother me on those things. I'll reply to you. I'll tell you what I think. And most of the time it's not going to be a serious reply. So
sweet. Yeah. Thank you so much for doing this with me. No problem. This has been great. And now here's Home in its entirety. You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoramones.com. I make music. Bloom will be available on August 8th, streaming everywhere. Put it on in the background, put it on your workout playlist, show it to your friends so you can all enjoy it together. You can also buy the thing and get bonus content to get a bit deep into the emotions you can feel with it. I also make music with Power Cycle, an experimental electronic trio. Our first completely improvised album, Too Many Damn Cables, is streaming everywhere. More to come from Power Cycle in the future. To support this podcast, leave reviews, comments, tell your friends about it, and buy my music, because by supporting me, you're supporting the podcast. I always end the podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those 3 things are: love never fails, it's going to be okay, I might be wrong.